today we've got Legendaries Tribal coming at you in Dominaria United meta with the help of Ratadrabik. This new card in black and white is making it possible for us to do all kinds of crazy things and explore. And so we've got an awesome Mardu list today with all kinds of one of and two of fun shenanigans featured around, obviously, legendary creatures. Now let's start getting into it. Some great cards in the list right off the bat. Seeing the Plaza of Heroes. This is a new land, also out of Dominaria United. Really got a lot of support in this new set for this deck. That can tap for colorless, or it can add 1 mana of any color, and that mana can be used to spend on any legendary permanent you control. So that pairs extremely nicely with Ratadrabik of Urborg, the 3/3 Vigilance Zombie Wizard. Now, the reason this card is so good is because whenever another legendary creature you control dies, we get to create a token that's a copy of that creature, except it's not legendary and it's a 2/2 black zombie. So it's absolutely insane. It turns all of our legendaries into repeatable, recurrable threats, and it is just so much fun. I've been having a blast playing this list, and I'm super excited to share it with you guys today. Now, we do have a really nice start here against a control deck, and it's looking like they're holding up probably some interaction here. So I'm going to go ahead and hold back my Ratadrabik, and we're going to start off with a Nadaar. We're going to not pay with treasure, just because we don't really need to right now at the moment. And we're going to try to bait out this counterspell so we can drop down Ratadrabik on a following turn. Now, they apparently don't have the removal. They're just holding up a little bit of Omen of the Sea action. I usually like to go with the Dungeon of Pandelver. It's just the most generically completable, but also short as well, and also has good value in my opinion. Deadly Dispute, we've already got that Village Rites, we probably don't need that. Nadaar is also the only dungeon diving creature in the deck, but a 3/3 Vigilance for 3 that gets you lots of value by doing dungeon shenanigans is quite good in the deck, even by itself, but that's another reason to choose the shorter dungeon if you're going to try out that list. Now let's see if our opponent, Silt here, is interested in playing any actual spells, or if they're just interested in kind of sitting back and doing nothing. So next turn, we're going to have a nice chance to get down Ratadrabik, probably, and I'm pretty excited about that. They're probably looking for counter magic, but also, even if they do have counter magic, we've got 4 power per turn coming down at them, which is no small thing. So let's see what we got. Okay, they're going to go ahead and scry 2. They sent 2 to the bottom, so they're really digging here. And let's see if we can assess the kind of threat. Probably Esper Control, considering how much of a lack of threat they've had in the early game, but we'll find out. Likely cards we could see against the Esper Control. It could be Esper Greasefang, but usually you see a lot more. Okay, and they're going to tell us right here. So this is a Doom Foretold deck. Not my favorite deck to play against, but it's fine. It's not a huge deal. So at the beginning of each player's upkeep, we have to sacrifice a non-land, non-token permanent. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of Kalain here. Urborg is going to be a nice touch for this deck because it's going to allow us to sacrifice our legendary creatures and then have another copy of them next turn. Now, we can't sacrifice that following copy, so that's a little unfortunate. Let's go ahead and make a treasure. Getting a token here isn't going to be extremely important. But as I was saying, this makes you sacrifice a non-land permanent, and if you can't, then they get to do all kinds of fun shenanigans. Now, they also do have to sacrifice non-land permanents themselves, which is a problem for them, which is usually not a problem for them, as they run things like Omen of the Sea and Trial of Ambition. Now, they are going to have a pretty nice play here, where the Trial is going to make us sacrifice Nadaar, and then Doom Foretold is sadly going to make us sacrifice the Ratadrabik. Let's see, each opponent gain 1, lose 1. Now, the thing I could do is actually sacrifice my Ratadrabik now, and then I will have no target, actually, for the Doom Foretold, in which case they have to sacrifice Doom Foretold, which could be decent for us. That's an interesting thought. Do we want them to get rid of Doom Foretold? Probably. Let's go ahead and we're going to pay black. We're going to sacrifice Ratadrabik. Sad, but we can do it. We can handle it. We're going to get to complete a dungeon, which is going to be pretty cool. So now we have no non-token permanents, which is going to make us discard a card, which is fine. We can handle that as well. We'll toss this extra land. They get to draw a card, create this token, but we get to keep right on rolling. So let's go ahead and swing in with my Nadaar. We get to venture and complete this dungeon to draw us an extra card. And then this is also going to get +1/+1, so it's going to be safe here against the Knight. Oh, other creatures get +1/+1. Okay, I did misread that a little bit, but that's okay. We'll trade token for token here. No problem. I am pretty interested in getting down, I think... Let's go ahead and get down an Alesha, and then Alesha can actually bring back 2 drops. So this can actually bring back Kalain, which could be nice to give us some more fodder. So hopefully this can last long enough. Or we could go for the other game plan of dropping down a Kroxa now, but we can do that next turn anyway. So we'll go ahead and hold off. I want to have a Deadly Dispute and a Heartless Act up available. In case they do drop down another Doom Foretold, I think I'm interested in Deadly Dispute doing that same play again, forcing them to find Doom Foretold number 3 after that. It does get harder to find them after a while. They probably do have Recursion built into the deck, but pretty grindy deck that I don't usually find is too difficult to defeat, but we'll see. It is a solid deck for a reason, and it's one that I always seem to play every now and then. It kind of just remains an archetype all the time. My dog wants to say hi. This is my dog, Whiskey. Hello. My assistant for today. Okay, so this is just the kind of thing we were talking about. We're going to go ahead and get our maximum value by sacrificing Alesha here. So that the trial cannot make us sacrifice anything. Full value, not bad. We have a lot of recursion in the deck ourselves. We saw Alesha, but then also we have Isareth, which can bring things back as well. They're taking a risk with this Treacherous Blessing, so I'm assuming that they do maybe have in hand the Doom Foretold, but let's go ahead and put down a Junji. And then even if they make us sacrifice Junji, this can actually, with the second mode, reanimate our Ratadrabik, getting us kind of back on target here. Which, Ratadrabik is a really fun combo with Kroxa as well, which I'm hoping that I can show you guys here in just a minute. Okay, and they're also running Teferi. Interesting choice. I guess we'll see if they're willing to bounce this to hand. They are. Smart play. Oh, this is Hero Dominaria. Oh, it goes third from the top. I thought for some reason it went to hand, but that is okay. My mistake. No problem. Let's go ahead, make a treasure. And then what's the play? Let's go ahead and play Isareth. Not using the treasure. I don't really particularly need it to grow at the time. We just need to get multiple permanents out to handle the Doom Foretold that's probably going to be coming soon. And we also definitely want to put some pressure on this Teferi, but if they cannot remove the Isareth this turn, it will allow us next turn to bring back the Ratadrabik by simply paying 4 to reanimate it from the graveyard, because Ithareth says when you attack, you may pay X, and when you do, return target creature card with mana value X to the battlefield with a corpse counter on it, and then if it would die again, it gets exiled once it has that corpse counter on it. Very solid card for 3 mana. Super solid. And then Kalain as well creates that treasure when it comes in. And then when Kalain is out, if you're using treasure to cast other creatures, they get to come in with +1/+1 counters. So, a bit of a stalemate here. I don't feel necessarily that we are in the lead. They've got a lot of permanents on board and a lot of cards in hand. I think this is a critical turn. If they're not able to stop us from doing some shenanigans, then we are going to have some combos coming up next turn. But they definitely need some interaction. Okay, that's extremely unfortunate. They do have the removal. They've got the removal at the right time, it would appear. So what is our play? Let's first see what they've got. Probably don't need that to come in as anything specific. Don't need it to come in as a 2/1. We're fine with we're fine with it coming in as a 2/1. Let's glance at the old hand here. This is some good information. Good timing for this. They might not be running creatures, though, so that makes Valki significantly less. I'm wondering if I should have actually... Okay, good. This is good. They do have creatures. So what's a bigger problem? Probably Yorion is a pretty big problem. think Yorion's the bigger threat. They've also can just kill all creatures, so that's terribly sad. That's probably their play next turn. So let's go ahead and drop this down. And we're going to go black, red, because it's going to get sacrificed. And then our plan will be if they exile all, or if they Supreme Verdict next turn, then we've got the Kroxa play to follow that up with. Which seems decent. Okay, we'll get in here for 1. We're going to hold off the Teferi from being able to -3 again, at least. So that's nice. And then we say go. Lockmere Serpent will be a pretty big beating. Except it looks like they maybe put that in the graveyard. Pretty good.
Hurry.
Pretty good, the old Lockmere Serpent. Okay, now I'm nervous, because they're probably going to hit our Kroxa with the Lockmere Serpent and get to bring this back to hand. That's pretty nice. It's unfortunate for us. But they can do that and Supreme Verdict. I don't know if we're going to be able to come back from this one. It's a long, grindy match. Oath of Kaya. So they're probably going to hit the Valki, because they're trying to play... Yep, that makes sense. So we'll go ahead and sacrifice the Valki, I guess. Putting the Yorion back in their hand. Them playing the Yorion is going to be pretty brutal. That's going to be pretty backbreaking. They're just getting too much value. I think they might get the win against this. The problem playing against Doom Foretold, why it's so sad, is it just takes forever. It literally just takes so long. It's insane. And then they're thinking, and it goes so slow. But hopefully we can pick it up here. Yep, and there's the Lockmere Serpent. We totally expected that. Getting rid of our graveyard play, super smart. Very good removal of the graveyard. They've still got the Supreme Verdict in hand, which will be a challenge. Luckily, they don't have anything to exile, so Junji is a bit of a threat. So the question is, do we put down Junji? This also has flash. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they can flash in Serpent whenever they want. But if we get them to flash in Serpent, then they have a harder time doing the Supreme Verdict. So that's what I want to do. I actually want them to flash in that Serpent. See if we can bait that out. And then if they do, we're going to put out Isareth because of the Death Touch, so that we can swing into that Lockmere Serpent with the Death Touch. Perfect. This is what we wanted. And also, I've got enough mana. Let's just go ahead and get rid of Kalain, draw my 2 cards. It's going to die anyway. And then we're going to drop down Isareth. And then we're going to pay the mana, take action, Heartless Act. Let's Heartless Act. I guess we don't want to Heartless Act now. We want to make it a little more of a challenge for them to pull off this Supreme Verdict. We want it to hurt. So we can hold on to this.
You know what? I'm not.
They probably just play Yorion, blink all of these things for insane value. Another Treacherous Blessing comes down. See if we can weasel our way out of this one. If we can do this to bring back Ratadrabik. Man, another exile. Tragedy. Alright, well now we do want to go ahead and hit the Serpent. They've just got a lot of removal and they're hitting it at the right time. But they've got good card draw. Their deck is well built. So we've got to respect that. The exiling is sad though, because it is keeping us from bringing up our Junji. And they can just bounce something to the top again now. Yeah, they've just really got a chokehold on us. Yeah, they've really got us beat, probably. It's just such a slow death, it makes me want to fight it out. I never like giving up on a game. I really like to play them out for those times you squeeze out the surprise wins. Yikes. They do not like graveyards, do they? Respect it. Okay. I guess let's go red, black, put down Kroxa. And then I'm pretty close to conceding if they've just got more answers for everything we're doing. Let's get a more exciting game than this. Put out Junji. Maybe we'll come back. Who knows? Their card advantage is just crazy. We could go for the deck out play. They're at 30, but they're not really advancing their game plan either. Card advantage, though, just feels like it has to beat us out, right? Oh my gosh, another exile. They've hit all three. They've hit 3 Rites of Oblivion. Unless they're just flashing that back. I guess they flashed it back, didn't they? I guess I should have paid better attention. Okay, I'm willing to give it to him. That's too long. Let's get another game and actually have a little fun and play some better Magic than that. Okay, so this game we're keeping a slow start here. No creatures until turn 3, but I think I'm willing to risk it and see what this deck can do. Probably the exact wrong time to be doing that. It looks like we're going against a mono red deck. Now luckily, Kroxa is pretty nice to hit on turn 2. You at least make them throw away 1 threat so they run out a little faster. So not the worst, and then getting back Alesha can be a ton of fun because it lets you bring back the Kroxa attacking, and then it does get to sacrifice, but you can kind of create a little loop. So that's a pretty sweet play that we'll get to do. The deck has lots of little fun interactions between cards that I really love. So we're going to drop down Alesha here, and we do have white-black, so if there's no other plays, and we don't have anything else that we want to bring out, also 3/2 first strike, respectable. They cannot very easily attack into me here. So Alesha going to put some pressure on for sure. And it does get hit by the stomp, so that's where that 2 toughness really hurts Alesha a lot. We see Ratadrabik, perfect. Love to see it. Now we just need to find that 4th land. Varragoth here, the 2/3 Death Touch, will be nice to hold off at least a little bit of pressure. The name of the game is just... oh man. Of course they hit the no blocks. Mono red really coming for us, doing what it wants to do. We need to find some life gain in here. I don't actually remember if there's any in here. Okay, that is a tough choice. That's exerted. I think we gotta play our cards though, right? We gotta put down Ratadrabik. 3/3. We'll hold this back. Live on 4 and hope we can stabilize. If we can stabilize, we've got way more card value or advantage than they do if Ratadrabik stays. 3 mana is a little safer than 2, just because it can't get hit by Stomp. Ward 2, pretty nice on Ratadrabik as well. Okay, this is not terrible unless they've got an Embercleave. They could just have Embercleave, or they could just have something nasty for us. They probably do. Tarka's Command. Interesting choice. Creatures you control get +1/+1, and 3 to each opponent. Well, that's probably just our L, right? Man, we really needed that to live. Now, unfortunately, we also had the kimono backside creating everything getting exiled. I think that's only supposed to be on the first side, but I guess they got us. So, 0-2 for the Legs Tribal. Let's keep rolling and see if we can actually show you how the deck works one time. Okay, I think we've got a potentially sweet start to this game. Starting off with that 2-drop Kroxa, I think feels quite good. And then Nashi is just a pet card of mine. Love playing this guy in Commander. Big risk playing Nashi, but I just think it's way, way too fun not to play. So we're going to drop down the Kroxa. They are ramping out, though. We're going to potentially put down a 4-drop next turn, which does make me scared. But we see them getting rid of the All Runs Epiphany, so we're probably playing a... let's see, blue, green, black, Sultai. Okay, so this is probably fight rigging. They've already got the shakedown heavy down. How do we want to respond to that? We're going to take 6 next turn. That's not great. Let's go ahead and get down Nashi. I like the option of going with Nashi. If you're not familiar, when it deals combat damage to a player, exile the top card of each player's library. Until the end of turn, you may play one of those cards, and if you cast a spell this way, pay life instead of mana. So it's really sick. There's the fight rigging. That's probably the L. Not our luck today. They drop down another Shakedown Heavy, of course. 7? Honestly, draw your card. We'll save ourselves the 7 damage. I mean, yeah, what do you do when they just pull the nuts like that? And we don't have removal. Digging for removal, I guess. I guess decline. We can take a double trade. Feels bad, though. I guess we just let them draw cards for both of these and hope. Oh my gosh. Are you serious? Some days Arena is just against you, I swear. I swear the algorithm is just like, today, sorry, you're going to lose. You've been winning too often. I practiced with this deck after I made it, and I got way too many wins, and it said, nope, you're not allowed to have that many wins with a brand new deck that nobody's heard of. So we're going to let them draw 2 and just take the L, I think. See if they'll let us attack with Nashi. Maybe they'll get scared. Nope. Alright, you get it. Let's try again. Sad day. It's real on this channel, though. You get to see the L's here. I don't know if that's good or bad for me, but it's how I'm rolling. Alright, it's a pretty terrible start, but it also has my 2 favorite cards in it. We mulliganed to 6. But if you can get out Ratadrabik and a Gisa, which lets you steal your opponent's creatures, it's insane and so fun. So if we can get that far, I'm going to get to show you guys a nuts game. If we don't, I'm going to quit for the day and come back to this later because I'm going to be so mad. Okay, we at least get the Heartless Act turned on. We probably should hit a Pelt Collector now before it grows. But also there's going to be a Lovestruck Beast coming down. So I don't know, I guess we hit that instead. Yeah, still Leaf Champion, definitely a bigger, badder threat. So let's hit that. Let's get rid of that right now. Not dealing with that. Ugh. Taking a whole bunch, and taking the L, I guess. Sigrid can at least hit one of these Pelt Collectors, slow them down, and getting to exile it feels pretty good, I think. There's the Beast. Yeah, this is just a tragedy. Just a tragedy of a day, guys. It's horrible. We're getting destroyed. Watch, we're not even going to draw a land next turn and get to actually play our cards either. Watch how sad this is. Pelt Collector feels like a god, right? We can block it. Let's just get rid of this stupid 1/1. Keep the Beast from blocking at least. Land. Okay, I'm going to take a break. You're not going to see it, but then we're going to come back to it and show you how the deck actually works in what's a continued video for you, but part 2 for me, because right now I'm getting salty. Okay, we're back after a nice break for me. Hopefully no difference for you. And also, I think I finally fixed the slight resolution problem that I've been having while recording. So if you notice, starting with this game, an increase in quality, if you could let me know in the comment section, that would actually be extremely appreciated. But anyway, we're back. I've got more energy. The salt is gone. I have rubbed it off after eating some dinner. And we're going to see if I can show you some actual wins. I just got a win by practicing this game one time before this recording while I was messing with those recording settings. And I think we're good to go. So we've got a pretty good start here. We're going to be able to get down a turn 3 Isareth, which can hopefully start bringing back Kroxa a few times for a fun little combo that I've been wanting to show you guys for a while. So I'm hoping for some better luck here as we get rolling now that we're back in the game. One moment, my dog is barking. I'm going to let him out really fast. Okay, the doggo is goodo. So let's get down Isareth and pass the turn. And then try to reanimate. Oh, they got me, actually. No, Kroxa's in the yard, right? Oh, okay, he just shows up over here, but not over there. Slightly confusing, but not a big deal. I guess Etchings of Kumano is a huge problem. Because if we bring back Kroxa, then it dies. Is that worth doing one time, or do we just hold off? We could trade here, Heartless Act here, and then they're swinging at us for 3 a turn, and then we're 1 land away from bringing Kroxa back for real. Plus, that'd be 1, 2, 2 other cards in the yard. We could put down a Kalain. I feel like since we are playing against red, we need to be control, so we need to play slower than them. And we're just trying to slow the game down. That's not bad, though. Menace First Strike is obnoxious, but it can safely block the Kumano. Or do I go Kalain, hold up Heartless Act? I think that's better. Double spell here. Let's get down Kalain. We're going to hold up the Heartless Act for the etching, because that messes up everything we do. We got a lot of death triggers in the deck. So we need to get rid of that exile effect. Let's go ahead and hit this now, before they go to combat. Throw another card in the yard. It's good for us. 1/2 cannot block the monkey. That's sad. But I think we're okay. Kumano's gone. It's big. Gonna take 3, but we're buying time. This can come down as a 4/4 though. That'll be good. Well, we don't have a treasure now, so that's unfortunate, so we can't. Embercleave, probably gonna be the L. It's just gonna be too much. Embercleave, double strike, trample. That's insane. That might be a fair block though, because it's only 2. I think we can actually double block and get the kill here. We might make it out of this, actually. Anax is fantastic. And then they're going to put the trample on that, which is going to kill us. But for now, we have to try this. We still die, but we get to deal the damage. Perfect. Okay. Ooh, there's the Heartless Act. Okay. Okay, we've got a shot here. Okay, so here's the question. What do we do? I think we have to... I don't think they're going to be interested in this trade. So I want to get in for my 3, and then when they go to equip, then we're going to Heartless Act. And then next turn, we get to start doing world combo. We might make it out, guys. Holy cow. We might be having a smidge of luck. Let's see. Surely they're going to equip. They're not going to equip. Are they prepared for this? Well, we got to try it either way. I really thought they would try to equip the Embercleave. But maybe they've got a protection spell that I'm not thinking of in mono red. Maybe they were nervous about this and that's why they didn't equip? Back up Embercleave. But that's not better, right? It still just dies? They just get to put it on that for 4? Yeah. I think that's fine with us, right? Maybe not. That's a lot. So, this comes in. We die. We could... Yeah, I don't think there's a way out of this, right? We can put in Kalain for another blocker. I have been having some internet issues, so this also might just be the last game if it decides to go out. We can block one of these. Deadly Dispute doesn't do much for us. Maybe we do the same thing we did last time, double block this guy. Castle Embereth also makes this harder. Castle Embereth, I think, actually gets them the win. They swing in. They deal damage to Isareth first on the first strike. Next turn, they deal... If they bump him to 3, they deal 1 extra plus the 3. Leaves us at 1. Yeah, I think they just pump and destroy us. They also got the Den, so it's just bad luck. Guys, I promise the deck. I literally played 1 game in between this. So that does first strike. We take 3. Yeah, that's another out. I promise it's not this bad. But let's go again, I guess. Okay, we're seeing a lot of Kalain plus Isareth, so hopefully this is their time to shine. We also could ramp into a 4-drop if we get so lucky. We see Duress, not too bad a problem. They can just take the Deadly Dispute. That doesn't really bother us so much, but we can just throw in this Blood Crypt tapped. Turn to Valki, also not bad. We can kind of do a little... Okay, so we're playing Thieves, so an early Valki would probably be good to get rid of one of their mill cards. So let's go ahead and drop this down. Pay the 2 life, put in the Valki, maybe snatch a Thought Thief or a Ruin Crab. Scavenger's also totally fine. Okay, looks like their hand was not that fantastic. So if we can just survive, we should be fine. We can even take that trade, it's not terrible. We more need to be concerned about Mill, though. Spell Pierce is fine, not hurting us right now. I can throw down a Nashi next turn. Or we could just go into Isareth, also not a bad idea. And reanimate a Kalain, that's pretty good. Isareth, actually, against a mill deck is fantastic. We're going to put down Isareth first, for sure. I don't want to let them cast the Nighthawk on curve. So I'm going to go ahead and wait. I'll take the 1. Not as concerned about damage, as I mentioned. It's unfortunate. Hopefully they're not going to wise up to my Isareth play, but playing Nashi's fine too. That can start to get us some advantage. It is a little risky, just by nature of being Nashi. Okay, so they hit Isareth there. And we do get a win, kind of a bad one. So let's play again and she get a real win, and then we're going to probably wrap up the video. Okay, I'm not super excited about this start, but maybe this will be a game that surprises me a little bit. Starting off with Plaza is always solid. Gets us mana to cast any of our creatures, so that always feels good. Turn 2 Valki is also a pretty solid play. Just kind of messes up their tempo unless they play removal, in which case it doesn't matter, but they usually have it. But even drawing out that early removal usually feels pretty good. Varragoth is maybe a card that could be cut, just because to play him for 3 and then to wait a turn and then boast to put something on top is probably just not good enough. I had ideas in my head that it would be better than it is, but it's just not that good. So probably should be cut for any other better 3-drop. But let's see. We might be getting another timeout win. If that's the case, you won't even see this game because I'll cut it out. But maybe we'll get lucky. I'll make a cut if we get to play. Okay, so our opponent is here. We see the Fabled Passage turn 1. And here we go. Off to the races. Valki coming down. Let's see what they're playing. See the mountain. So, okay, we're playing Phoenix. That's insane that they've got 3 Phoenix in hand. Let's make them discard those Phoenix, though. So we're going to snatch up this Sprite Dragon. 3 Phoenix in hand. Does Impulse let them draw? They have nothing yet to discard, so that's good. That will help us. They have to actually discard those. I don't know off the top of my head what kind of graveyard removal we have, but maybe this is the case where Varragoth just goes and gets whatever graveyard hate we have. So maybe Varragoth is better than I was giving him credit for. Pretty sweet art on this guy, though, that's for sure. This also could be my internet making this take a while. It's struggling a little bit. Okay, they were just thinking. Impulse, probably not actually good enough for Explorer, but it seems to be doing fine in Standard, that's for sure. But it is a great budget card if you're looking to build a spell slingery type of deck. So that's pretty nice. Okay, they're really taking the time here. Let's cut again, I guess. Okay, we're back. Take 2. Next turn, we can go get any card we want and put it on top, and also, that's all. Okay, land number 3. Not sure what 3 drop they're going for here. Lightning Axe. Nice, and it gets their discard outlet. That will definitely do the job for them. And they get to opt, and if they have another 1 mana spell, we're going to see a Phoenix coming down at us. So they're real close to pulling that off. Scribe to the top, so it's probably a 1 mana spell. There they go. I can never seem to get that lucky when I play Phoenix, but I'm also not an expert at the deck by any means. Okay. I guess let's attack. And then let's boast. And then let's see what kind of graveyard hate we have. Junji is not it. Liesa's not it. That would do it. But we don't have the mana for it. We can get any card. I mean, the play is to get Gisa. We just can't cast her yet. Double black. Okay, I don't think we go for that. I think we go for the playable card. Let's just get Ratadrabik, get our things turned on here, and go from there. I guess we could have gotten Liesa as well. Might not have been a terrible play. Let's grab Valki, get 1 Phoenix out of their hand, put the pressure on. And they've also got to consider. We can also do a fun little play of turning this into a Phoenix to block. But I would love to hit eventually that Gisa could be our way out. But they're going to put a lot of pressure on here. They're going to go Sprite Dragon. If they hit a land, double Sprite Dragon is going to be pretty hard to deal with. That's for sure. They should have cast a Sprite Dragon before that, right? They don't even have anything else to do necessarily. Okay. They go get their land, totally fine. We're going to receive a lot of pressure. I guess I should have gotten Liesa instead of this, probably, right? Ratadrabik's going to put a lot of pressure on, though, because then even if they kill the Valki, we get to get it back and get the other Arclight Phoenix out of their hand again. So that's pretty cool. So, yeah, we might be able to stabilize. This is going to dodge Heartless Act, which is going to be a bit of a problem. So let's do this, see if we can lure them into taking the Sprite Dragon. Perfect. Now here's a fun little combo. We get the free trade, and then it basically gets to just act like it never happened. So we get to make a new Valki. Comes in, grabs the Arclight Phoenix right back, which I think is pretty good. And we got that Sprite Dragon out of the way before it got any counters on it. I think that was not so bad. Okay. Can we pull it back? Come on, Ratadrabik. Let's pull it back. 3 a turn in the air. We can turn this into a Phoenix next turn to trade in the air, throw them both in the yard, which might not be bad since they don't have any instants and sorceries in hand. It will be pretty hard for them to get them back out. We're going to take 6 in the air. That's tough. That is tough. Yeah, we have to do that play next, and probably a Heartless Act. We don't have the mana for it yet, though. We're awfully close to another L with old Legendary Tribal. And there goes my server problems. I told you guys this was happening. I'll make a cut. We might just be in the deck recap, though, and just calling it a night. And I might have spoke too soon. Okay. Here we go. Let's take 6. So close. Land. That's not good enough. So we need to turn this for 4 mana into a thing. And then take 3. Yikes. Should have swung in with those, I guess. Of course that has haste as well. That's the loss. They got us. Alright. Cut. I'm done. Bad deck. Forget it. Forget about it. Alright, so here is the full list. Clearly not very good based on the gameplay today, but it's always real here on this channel. But I do actually genuinely see some potential with it. Probably just needs to be some tweaking. But anyway, we see the 4 copies of Ratadrabik of Urborg, the main card in the deck. 4 mana, 3/3 Vigilance, Ward. Other zombies you control have Vigilance, but the most important part, whenever another legendary creature you control dies, create a token that's a copy of that creature except it's not legendary, and it's a 2/2 black zombie in addition to its other types. The only legendary in the deck besides this that has more than 2 copies is Kalain, Reclusive, Painter, and that's just because I think the 2-drop for legendaries is a little weak, but this is just a fantastic start. It can ramp you to that 4th piece of mana with the treasure to get Ratadrabik on turn 3, which is just fantastic, and I do think it's actually a very solid card. Now, just working our way up, starting with the legendaries. Salt Valki, pretty nice tempo play is really why it's in there. It baits out that early removal. And 2 Kroxa, very good. There's a lot of combos involving Kroxa to bring it back in once every turn for free or for a little bit of mana, which we didn't quite get to see, but that you maybe saw glimpses of. One way to do that is with Isareth the Awakener. When you attack, you get to bring it in for just 2 mana because that's the mana value of it. So basically 2 mana each turn if you've got extra is very, very good. We also have 2 copies of Nadaar, just a 3/3 Vigilance for 3 that ventures and gets you some nice venture mechanics. I think it's pretty good. Sigrid, we have 1 of that for a little bit of removal. When it comes in, you can exile 1 attacking or blocking creature. 1 Varragoth we saw probably could be cut. Putting something on top for 2 mana is just too slow. I don't think it's good. Isareth is very good. Leave it in the deck. Nashi is just kind of a favorite card that I threw in there because I love Nashi and I love it in Commander. In a 20 life format, it's probably not good enough. It probably should be cut. Now, I was surprisingly impressed with Alesha. This is another little mini combo with Kroxa because Alesha can bring back Kroxa for that 2 mana, bring it back tapped and attacking. Really quite good, actually. I think it's pretty decent and probably deserves a spot in the list. 3/2 First Strike can be surprisingly effective at blocking whenever we're playing those faster decks, and I think I would leave it and potentially bump it up to 2 cards and replace that with Varragoth. This is probably the best card in the deck beside Ratadrabik. If you get out Gisa and Ratadrabik, you've pretty much got the whole board on lock. This, first off, exiles opponent's creatures that are going to die, but then if you make it to your next turn, your upkeep, you get that creature with Decayed. So it gets exiled, you get a temporary token for it. It's absolutely insane. It pairs so nicely with Ratadrabik. If your token copy is a legendary creature from Gisa and it dies while you have Ratadrabik, you get another token copy, so it's just absolute insanity. And it exiles, so it's great grave hate. At the top, Junji, we saw a little bit, is a very nice top end because it dies, and then whenever the non-token copy dies from Ratadrabik, it dies again and gets you another amazing trigger. Liesa we didn't see, but I think could be pretty good. Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, return that card to its owner's hand. So I could picture this pairing with Ratadrabik where your thing dies, it bounces to your hand, and then you get a non-legendary copy on board, and then you can replay the legendary copy. Just absolute insanity. Plus it's a 4/5 flying lifelink, which once again, this deck tends to play better late, I think. It draws out the game. You really lose to aggro decks a lot, so maybe there's some places in the early game where this deck could be improved. Now, I'm not an amazing deck builder, so here's what I had for removal. We obviously saw that 1 copy of Sigrid. We had the 4 Heartless Acts, so maybe as I'm looking at it, 5 pieces of removal is probably not enough. Probably need more room for that. And probably these 8 pieces of card draw is probably too much. We have a lot of ways to get card advantage sort of using Ratadrabik, so I think an adjustment, probably taking out all of these Village Rites and maybe adding something like 3 Fatal Push could be pretty good, and then maybe 1 other way to draw cards on a legendary creature could be very fantastic. Now, another really important card for the deck that I forgot to talk about is the Plaza of Heroes. This is a new land out of Dominaria United, and it can tap for any color as long as you're casting a legendary spell. Now, it also has a couple other abilities. Once you get that legendary out, it can tap for any color that any legendary you have, so it fixes your mana afterwards as well. And then for 3, you can tap and exile it. Target legendary creature gains hexproof and indestructible. Insanely good. I think this is a real land that's going to make it in some kind of list somewhere all the time. And then other than that, we just had the basic 24 lands. Ran a lot of creatures trying to get a lot of effects, and then a few instants as well. So that's the deck list. Thanks so much for joining me for this kind of sad ride, but I still had a lot of fun making this deck and trying it out. Let me know how you would improve it and make it actually playable. And if you're still here, you're amazing. I've got another video for you right up there if you want to keep rolling. But thank you for watching today. You're the best. Have a great day, my friend.